Hello everyone. Today's session is Water Chemistry Part 2. Myself Dr. Priyabrata Banna, Assistant Professor, Brunel University. We will discuss the second part of this why wastewater is treatment is required. Now, it's for drinking purpose. Water is the low amount of water is present in earth, so we need to treat the wastewater. But why water is polluted day by day nowadays? There is so many reasons. So, due to the presence of so many wastage, domestic wastage, sewage, industrial sewage, and or maybe storm sewage. So many sewage is polluting our water, and when this sewage is mixed with the water body, it has been seen that 99% of suspended solid and biodegradable inorganic or organic material or nutrients, so many things are present and so many pathogens is present. And when these pathogens or so many solid polluted particle is present in the water body, then this water is need to be treated by the so many process, and there normally preliminary treatment is there, then primary treatment for this or settling treatment is there, then secondary and tertiary treatment is required for the this wastewater. Uh, in primary treatment of waste water is first is screening. Screening, that means screening, these types of screening is required, where all the floating debris, rags or papers, they are separated it out. And grit removal includes very heavy inorganic particles such as sand gravels. So sand gravel that is present in the water body, so that is actually need to be separate from your wastewater. So why it is required? Because it is required for your improve the mechanical efficiency of the any engine, or maybe sometimes these types of sand or waste material clogging in the pipe. So these types of clogging is there. So as a whole, it is actually the water flow is somehow is totally damaged, or maybe water flow is sometimes is very much affected by these types of clogging process. And in this process, it is needed by reducing this, we can also reduce the accumulation of grit also. So this is all this process is required, that is included in preliminary treatment process. And that preliminary treatment process also hand screening, or maybe some type neutralization such process also there, or maybe sometime it is needed like that. If it is the density of this paper or maybe rags or the plastics in areas is very high, we can mix it with the others, that will lowering the amount of this polluting or wastage material within the body. That is the another process. This is all included in the preliminary treatment of the water body. Then primary treatment or settling process. This is in every household there is a grit chamber is there, or a septic tank is there in every household. So what actually happen is there in a when in a septic tank, what actually water body forming three layers. One is the scum layer, where is the all the light particle, or maybe oil, grease, or types of material, organic material, which is floating without floating away. And then in the middle part is called fair water body is there, that is separated from the upper layer, and sludge, most of the heavy waste material that is precipitated out in the, or maybe settling down in the lower part of the septic tank. So that in that manner we can separate the waste material in different depending on this layer. So this is one of the process. And another process is primary treatment, that is grit chamber. In grit chamber, there is that is sedimentation tank is there, where depending on the particle size, what types of that is sometimes called gravitational separation, depending on the particle size and their mass, all the waste particles we can separate it out in the different manner that is given in this process. And this is septic tank is so many different layers is mentioned over here. So this is the we use this particular technique in the primary treatment of settling. Okay. The secondary treatment process contain not only the organic material, mainly organic material, nitrogen and phosphorus we have to separate it out. Because why it is? Because if the nitrogen and phosphorus is much more high amount within the water, then it is algae or cyanobacteria, it is growth will be much more high, and that takes most of the dissolved oxygen within the water to grow. So that is why it is become the low absence or maybe deficiency of dissolved oxygen within the water. That means indirectly it is polluting your water, which is not usable for the human beings, as well as it is not good for the living organism present like fish or any other types of living things are present in the water. So to protect the freshwater economy, we have to oxidize the dissolvent particulate within the water, maybe by biodegradable process, and capture and incorporate suspended and non-settleable colloid solids, transform and remove the nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus, remove the specific trace organic constituent from the compound, and the removal of dissolved and particulate carbonious material by BOD process. We also can do that. We can also measure this amount of dissolved oxygen within the water by the BOD process. And we also use another oxidizing process where we use the organic material present within the water that react with the oxygen and oxygen, and in the presence of some microorganism, this whole waste material is converted in a particular biomass. Carbon dioxide is liberated out. So in that fashion, we also separate the waste material within the water body, and we also maintain the nitrogen and phosphorus within the water body. Another thing is within the secondary treatment or biological treatment, this is called biological treatment. It is biological treatment because it is normally related with the organic compounds, and most of the microorganisms, so many bacteria, nitrogen bacteria, they is responsible for the degradation of the organic compound. That is why it is a secondary treatment. It is called also biological treatment also. So there is another process also. This is fixed field or attached growth process. This is a aerobic or anaerobic process. Both are combined. One of the application of trickling filter, rotating biological contractors. These are the so many techniques that come under this process. And where in a aerobic digestion process, so it is a biological process where microorganisms actually break down the biodegradable material in absence of oxygen. So this is an aerobic condition. And in aerobic conditions such as posting, microorganism access the free gaseous oxygen directly from the surrounding atmosphere, and it can biodegrade the organic waste material present within the water body. So in that manner, it is in the secondary treatment process, we can purify the water, we can purify the wastewater. Another thing is dispersed or suspended growth digestion. There are also bacteria cells responsible for the treatment for suspended water column in the tank, and stabilization ponds, activated sludge, and aggregated lagoons. These are one of the application of this process. Most commonly, it will so many different types of active sludge process is used, and there is this is a process where the this bacteria will react with the mixed liquid suspended solid or mixed liquid volatile suspended solid, and 99% of this suspended solid can be removed in full clarification, and as also your water body become much more clear, and it is the waste water body can be purified in that manner also. So this is one of the another techniques of secondary treatment process. And in the secondary treatment process, one of the very important thing is that the removal of nitrogen in water body. The removal of nitrogen is a two-step process. One is the aerobic zone. In aerobic zone, there is so many bacteria, nitrosomonas and nitrobacter. They present in normal nitrosomonas. It is react with the ammonium salt in presence of oxygen, aerobic condition, forming nitrite ion, and new cell it will form, and then nitrobacter that react with the nitrite ion in presence of oxygen, it will converting them into nitrate ion, and then these things in anoxic zone, this nitrate converted to nitrite, then nitric oxide and nitrous oxide, then it is converted to nitrogen. So this is the whole process by which water body contain nitrogen, it is liberated to air, and that will maintaining the amount of nitrogen within the water body. So this is one of the process by which we can in sewage or wastewater, we can maintain the amount of nitrogen, and we can restrict the growth of the algae or any other things in the water, and so dissolved oxygen may be maintained in that fashion. Another thing is the phosphorus. Phosphorus removal is done in large quantity by the group of microorganisms known as polysulfate accumulating organism and polysulfate accumulating bacteria. They are responsible to separate out phosphorus within the water body, and by enhancing the biological phosphorus removal process, we can also separate the presence of phosphorus. That phosphorus is also responsible for the eutrophication. So we can also maintain the nutrients of within the water as well as the dissolved oxygen within the water by these two processes. In tertiary wastewater treatment, which is very much essential, it is this particular treatment why it is essential, not only essential for industrial purpose, this is also essential for the very much essential for the drinking water purpose. First of all, that this is the, and another thing is that this is the process where with the total dissolved solid, pathogen, nutrient and organic matter, we can also separate it out. There is so many advanced techniques we have already discussed in the part 1. One is the electrodialysis. We have discussed that by the electrodialysis process, where we use two different types of cationic exchanger and anionic exchanger. By the help of this cationic and anionic exchanger in a particular voltage, we can separate out so many metal salt. We are separating out so many metals in that manner. So can the TDS value will be much more low. Dissolved solid will be much more low within the water. Apart from that, there is a formation of sodium salt that is not responsible or maybe no harmful effect on the drinking water. So reverse osmosis, another process we have already discussed. This is we use the technique where more than osmotic pressure we use for that, and where from concentrated mixture we are by a semi-permeable membrane, by using greater than high osmotic pressure, we actually separating the solvent molecule from the concentrated part to low concentrated part. So in that, this is the process by which also we can purify the wastewater. We also purify the wastewater as well as we also make it drinkable for the human beings. So that is the necessary things for this treatment. Another is the membrane separation, ultraviolet separation. Membrane separation is one of the very vital process where so many membranes we use, micro filtration we use, ultrafiltration we use, and nanofiltration. By the help of these different size filter, that actually separating so many pathogen, bacteria, or maybe suspended solids within the water, that water may be much more drinkable. This is the advanced process by the help of the nanofiltration up to 1 to 10 nanometer size, any particle or maybe any organism present, we can separate them out. So that may be much more pure form of water that we can drink. Second is ultraviolet. Ultraviolet radiation nowadays in a filter is one of the modern technique we use. That the idea to use this ultraviolet radiation, it is electromagnetic radiation, and electromagnetic radiation having a capacity that it will hit the target molecule having a mass, and it is destroying that and break down in a different fragment. So in water body, if there is a bacteria and fungi or anything present, that their DNA, RNA, when it is in contact of the ultraviolet ray, the DNA sequence is breakdown. So that is the reproduction of the DNA or maybe that particular organism, bacteria, is not possible. So that is the best uh, treatment, tertiary treatment for the water body, wastewater treatment. And this is all about wastewater by the help of the preliminary, primary, secondary to tertiary water treatment process. Any wastewater can be finally, say all the waste material is separated and we can use that water for drinking purpose. So this is one of the wastewater treatment of that utility of the wastewater treatment. And another use of water is that cooling of water. Nowadays, huge amount of water is in industry is used as a coolant purpose because the one of the important use is coolant because the purpose of this cooling system to transfer heat system to it from a heated body to the water because water has the capacity to absorb heat from it. So it is one of the index we use for that, Langmuir saturation index, where if Langmuir saturation index in the between 0.2 to plus 0.2, the water is balanced. If it is less than minus 0.2, the water is corrosive in is nature. If greater than 0.2, then it is scale forming. So on the basis of this LSI value, we can easily choose that water may be used for industrial purpose or not. So on the note, we will conclude it here that wastewater is a nowadays is one of the big problem for our society because drinkable water drinkable water is scarcity of drinkable water. So there is as the source day by day is lowering. So that is why water should be preserved, and whatever the waste nowadays pollution is increases. So wastewater is nowadays increases. So we have to have purify this wastewater by so many process that we have already discussed by preliminary, primary, secondary and tertiary process. We can we can treat it this water so can we can may be drinkable or usable for the mankind. So in that way we will conclude it this part.